In this video, I talk about the upcoming updates in August and the unfinished business update posted at the same time. Hey guys, it's Divine from Merch.com with BTS merchanting review number 36. Let's quickly go over the August BTS first and not waste any time here. Like the previous years, we get the beach event again in Lumbridge, and with it all those rare tokens, emotes and pets that you can do some risky flipping on. It's generally a decent way to make some money for less wealthy merchants, and also to lose it if you don't know what you're doing, so be careful if you plan to get involved. I generally find that while a lot of people focus on these kinds of new items that they can make a few mil on, there are more regular items with decent margins as there are less people focusing on them. So my suggestion to you is to actually look towards those and see what kind of interesting flips you can find with less competition around. The achievement system isn't merchanting related, so I'll move on to Crystal Skill Champas. It seems like an alright update content-wise. I wouldn't expect much of it in terms of merchanting though, because if you look at Crimson Skill Champas, they have a stepped graph which is very rare for a high limit item. This means it has a low trade volume and few people use them, and I don't see much reason to believe that the Crystal version will be a whole lot better. It will obviously give better XP rates, but it'll likely be priced accordingly, and I don't see why substantially more people would use those instead. But perhaps I'm wrong. You can give it a try and flip some of those when they're around, or hunt your own and then sell them for a nice profit initially. On a side note, it's awesome that Jagex is making it so that high agility affects other actions in the game. I think this has been very much anticipated since run energy is pretty much a non-issue in most of the game for years now. I hope they'll start applying it in more places soon. That's it for August already actually, so let's move on to the unfinished business update. First off, the mining and smithing rework. I've had so many questions about my thoughts on this update, but really I know just as little as you guys, and don't really want to look into it too deep until they've actually decided on a direction for development. They're going to do just that by the looks of the post, and we'll hear more about it soon. If we do take a look at what people voted for, unsurprisingly, using smithing to make useful combat gear is number one. In my opinion, this ship has sort of sailed though with the release of Invention. Smithing and crafting should, in my opinion, have been the skills that allow you to add all of these weird add-ons to your gear. If Invention covers that, then the only alternative is to allow you to smith niche gear that won't devalue existing gears too much. It's a mess to work this out because you can basically never win. Either you devalue existing armor and people whine, or you fail to address the number one request that they have, and they'll whine about that instead and say it's failed content. Now, perhaps I'm too pessimistic about it, so I'll just wait and see what Jagex comes up with. Number two is quite naive in my opinion. Of course, everyone wants better or more money-making methods, but the only way this can be profitable enough is if you can produce things that other people need really badly. That leaves Jagex with three options in my eyes. Option 1 is to allow people to produce these add-on type of items that are expendable and over-reward you with enough XP so that people will want to buy them at large scale. I'm talking about things like urns, tools, scrimshaws, and so on and so forth that we already have. This further adds on to the complexity of training any skills in a game where you always need these nitty-gritty things to get the best efficiency, to really get most out of it, and generally demotivates a lot of people to really go for those best XP rates because it's just such a bother to have to prepare all of these extra things. Option 2 is to make you take a very long time to smith high level gear, or to give you a very small chance to produce it when smithing regular stuff. Now this will make it a risk-free equivalent to camping bosses, so by default it will need to be less rewarding than camping bosses, and it will devalue existing gears as I already mentioned, because why get some kind of very general type of gear if you can get three very specific ones for exactly the things that you need them. Option 3 is to allow you to smith materials that can be used to create some kind of mega structures, for example, in combination with the construction skill. Now, as long as this would be creative enough and give you a lot of freedom, people would be willing to pay decent money for the materials, I think. Of course, you don't want to recreate Minecraft and get that meme going, but it's an option that I would personally be most open to. I think a lot of people would be very interested in something like this, because it would be quite different from what we have today, and also sort of answer the question of what the hell we're going to do with construction. If you can think of any other way Jagex could make mining and smithing profitable in a sustainable way, let me know in the comments. Of course, they could add some kind of NPC that you smith stuff for and they reward you with cash, but that's not really going to be very sustainable. Now, I won't go over all of the other points in the list. If you have questions about them, feel free to ask in the comments. I also have no suggestions or comments regarding investments at this point. It really depends on what Jagex will come up with for this update. Normally seen, most of the items that will be involved in the higher levels of both skills don't exist right now, meaning you cannot invest for that. So I doubt you'll be able to do much beforehand, but we'll see how it works out. If we look at the initial smithing and mining design that they had, then there you would already see, okay, they're going to introduce new ores, etc., require you to use new pickaxes and so on and so forth, so not that much you can do. The clue scroll overall then. It's seriously weird to see Jagex post they are in the R&D phase for it, when this update was supposed to come out months ago. I do think clue scrolls allow for a lot of very creative rewards, so I hope to see some nice things in there. More ridiculously rare clue rewards would be great to see, as I feel like those always worked out nicely for merchants. You can't invest for an update like this. You do want to be very mindful about your current investments. So if you have any money in items like Third Age and Dice or even God Book pages, when the time comes, all of those will definitely crash when more people start doing clues. So if you're holding any of that stuff, be very wary about it. I'm glad to see that they already started to work on Invention Badge 2. I expected this to be part of the second expansion, as they hinted at this on several occasions. Again, not much to say about it right now, other than to eagerly await that update video they'll be posting. Whatever they plan to fix could have major implications to how the skill is trained and what the materials used for the skill will be worth. We know they'll probably allow you to trade upgraded gizmos, which should decrease the overall amount of disassembled gear, but we'll see how it works out. All of the other updates in the list, achievement system, bank rework, dailyscape reductions, Evil Dave quest, graphical reworks, combat skilling pets, and Shattered Worlds won't matter at all merchanting wise. The most surprising to me was that 120 Slayer wasn't included. I cannot possibly imagine that Jagex considers it finished business, as it really lacks substance. Anyways, that makes the rest of the year relatively predictable in terms of update investments, with new clue scroll rewards that you'll be able to do some high risk flipping on, and maybe even some hoarding if you have the cash for it. Maybe some nice investments for mining, smithing and invention, then bonus XP weekend, and probably some new junk rares. I feel like this is the year update investments kind of died out, and it's now very much become a merchant versus merchant playing field. That's a pity for merchanting because it really narrows down the possibilities, makes it a little bit more narrow, but as long as you're enjoying it, then it's good. Way to go for my positivity as always. The odd thing is that I'm usually the guy who can think of the bright side of almost any situation, yet to you guys, I just look like some grumpy merchant probably who has seen too much shit. Now that's why it's good, I guess, that I'm starting to make those Ask Merchanting Questions videos, so I can help people out in a positive way. Thanks for all of your great reactions to that first video, it was very motivational. I thought half of the people would actually click away the moment I said steel bars, but a lot of you seem to have really enjoyed it, so expect more of them whenever I get a question worth making a video about. So far I've had a bunch of questions, especially on the day when I released the video, but some are more in the spirit of please make a video about my question rather than the person actually caring about the answer or needing an answer in the first place. Anyways, thanks for watching guys, see you again soon for another video.